So this is about theming apps with UIAppearance. And so is this gonna work? There we go. So just a quick thing of like why you would want to theme your app. So you can see, I don't know if you guys use Apollo for Reddit, but this is like their theme screen. You can see how many different types of themes there are. So it gives the users ability to customize their experience, which is really good for keeping them engaged with your app. Also, dark modes are becoming more and more popular with it coming to macOS and probably to iOS this summer. Also, true black themes can save battery life on OLEDs because the individual pixels aren't actually on. So that can save a lot of battery life for your users. It also makes prototyping different color schemes and designs really easy because you can just load in a new kind of like theme file and just completely change the look of your app on a dime. You don't have to go through every single control and change it. So kind of the built-in way to do this is, there we go. So what is UIAppearance? And so UIAppearance allows the appearance of views and controls to be consistently defined across the entire application. So that's from NS Hipster. So basically, under the hood is a protocol that returns a proxy that forward any configuration to any relevant UIKit classes. So it's kind of like a static function that gets applied to all future instances of like UI view or UI table view or UI button or label or whatever. So it can apply to all instances of a class. So you could do like all UI buttons and take these properties, or you can be like classes contained within other classes. So you can be like all of the labels in collection view cells get this. And stuff like that. So you can get pretty granular with it. And you can basically adjust every property of these views that you might be familiar with, such as like text color, the type of text, really anything. So you're not limited on what you can and can't change. So a quick example of it. So this is kind of like a top level thing that you declare in like your app delegate, where you can see we're just for all UI labels. It's not even like one instance of UI labels. It's just UI label.appearance. And then your property after that, and you can just set it to whatever you want. And so this will change it for everything that's every instance of it is throughout your app. So that's for red text. So this one will be setting all navigation bar styles to black transparent. So you can do stuff like that. And then more of a complex one would be set all labels within a collection view cell to have a dark gray background. So you do UI label.appearance when contained in instances of, and then UI collection view.self. You can actually do multiple things there. So it's like a like layers deep. So if you had like another view on top of that you wanted to be within, you could do multiples within there. Stuff like that.
How does this get typed? Like through type inference, I guess, or through the type system? Like is
well, I can tell you that Xcode autocomplete for it is not great. It gets
Okay.
very confused often.
Okay. So maybe the type is just like any or something.
Yeah, well, I think
Probably UI. Yeah.
I'm
yeah.
just trying to think of like what this appearance function like.
Well, because if you look back,
declaration-
yeah, so you're like instantiating like an appearance object,
Yeah.
which is like a subtype of UI label, so of UI view, I assume.
Right. And it has a property on it, which is a property of UI label.
Right.
Like that's amazing.
Yeah.
And even that. Sorry to interrupt you, but even
No.
back there, one slide back, like bar style, like that. That's just for UI navigation bars. Like everything has a background
Yeah.
color, but only navigation bars have
Yeah.
a bar style.
Yeah, so it's basically like whatever those controls would normally have, you can adjust with this. So it's just a mirror of whatever they already had. Okay, so getting on to why UIAppearance isn't that great. It looks very powerful, but there's a lot of things you can't do with it. So the first problem is that it's hard to specify which views you want to affect. So let's say you only want to apply something to buttons within a specific screen. Apple's solution to this is basically to subclass the button.
And make like a set of buttons for
Yeah.
that screen.
Yeah,
That's
so you
what
end up with a ton of empty subclasses that are you're basically just renaming the UIKit classes.
Yeah.
So if you like want screen one, you could be like screen one button, and then extend UI button, and then just it's empty.
Screen one button.
Really?
Yeah. So like you have you end up like from what I've seen online, you end up with like a whole file of just like empty like.
Why can't you use the method that you used a couple slides ago?
Well, so this this will change every single label within your app.
Right, and then the next one, the next one, like after
This one?
that only does it.
This will do anytime in your app you have a collection view, any label within that will be changed. So let's say on like the main screen you have a table view with some labels in it. and you want those to be a certain color, but on a different screen you have another table view with labels in it,
Right.
and you don't want those ones to be changed.
I see. So can you? So you would have to have. Could you do like?
subclass.
You could have two different table view kind of subclasses.
Oh, I see. Or you
Table
can you have like if you have one view controller and another view controller, but the label is in a cell. Could you put the UI view controller in this
No,
array?
I don't
Oh,
think
it's
so.
The immediate pair.
It's the view.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
So that's the first problem. The second problem is there's no way to change a view that's already on screen. So the way you have to do it is you have to take all of those views off the view stack and re-add them to get like a new style.
Oh, so if a user changes the current theme,
Right.
you have
While
to
in the app.
remove
Yeah.
everything. Oh, interesting.
So like, which is kind of annoying to do. You can write a little like helper function to do it, but it's obviously not ideal way to do it. Because when you set that like UI label.appearance, it's basically saying every instance of this that's created from now on, take this styling. So obviously everything that's already on screen doesn't take that. So you have to pop it off and pop it back on.
So on screen means it's in the view hierarchy?
Yes.
Okay.
So there's no way to. Sorry, I'm kind of still stuck up on this, but like even when you're changing the collection view, there's no way to specify like table view dot collection view dot labels or whatever, or something like that. Like you can't specify the
You
view
can,
controller
like, the
before.
You can go.
Hierarchy of things.
You
Yeah,
can do
that's
the
fine.
hierarchy. It's just like specific table views or specific.
Mhm.
Oh, you can't like even like if there's
So if you
two
think-
table views in that.
Yeah. So if you think about it in terms of like CSS, you have like classes, but you don't have like IDs to use.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
So
Could you? Is there like so? There's no function to specify with an ID because I know you can get like you can generate IDs
No.
on buttons and stuff like that. But there's
I think so because you don't know what. I think because you're declaring it before you're instantiating that button, you don't know like what.
what ID would technically.
What
have.
yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay, so the third problem is that it's old and awkward. So it was introduced back in iOS 5, and some things are completely opposite of CSS. So when multiple styles apply to one object, so let's say like you have a rule that's like all labels are red, but then all labels that are within a collection view are blue, the outermost object takes priority.
So all labels are
So the red
still
one.
red.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
yeah. And then back when I was talking about, so like this, if you have multiple there, it goes, what did I say here? The hierarchy goes from right to left and not left to right like in CSS. So in like CSS, if you have like, it goes like most general to like most specific,
Mhm.
it goes the opposite way within like this array here.
Yeah.
So that's just something weird. I don't know why they did it that way, but that's something to keep in mind.
Oh, this inside of this, which is inside
Yeah.
of that. Is, okay, I see.
Yeah. So there's some awkward things. And then so these are some, this is mostly pulled off an article, a really good article I found about it, about how to implement theming in a way that gets over a lot of these shortcomings. So the best way is to define a theme protocol. And then so you have a protocol here with all of your different kind of properties that you'd want to change. So this is pretty simple. You just have like tint, secondary tint, colors, label colors, blah, 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 whatever you need. And then you can make different theme objects. So you have like a light theme or a dark theme or blue theme, whatever you want. And then so this is kind of hard to read, but I have a code example to show this more. And then so this is just an apply function that you'd call, and it goes through and changes for whatever whatever theme object calls this function will change all these different things.
Does that with function? Is that
That's specific to this tutorial
okay?
thing that there's an extension in there.
Just to
I think
operate that closure.
Yeah.
over-
And so this would be changing everything though, right?
Yeah, so anything defined in here.
And so anything that is like a navigation bar would just be changed to
Yeah.
color.
Yeah.
You can specify.
So this is normally called within did finish launching with options.
Okay.
So-
Oh, okay. Yep. Yep.
So like you declare it in there and then everything afterwards. That way it's called before everything gets loaded onto the view stack.
Definitely.
What is the application variable here? I guess it's just for that key window at the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Doesn't seem to be using that. Okay.
yeah.
Cool.
And then so this is the kind of the thing like the extension just
Reload.
to remove from super view and then add it to the subview.
Huh.
So
So
you
constraint,
remove add. That's awesome.
do constraints J?
I think so.
Okay.
From the demo I have, they do. It looks like.
Yeah.
So does this work for subviews of those subviews as well, or do you have to like go through
I
the
think so.
entire tree and then?
I think so because I think
Yeah, that's
I think
what I'm
the second extension it goes through.
Do it like recursively, like make it recursive.
Yeah.
And it
For
goes through
each
one.
element in the window, that looks.
Oh yeah,
like-
yep. That's
But does it though? Well, wait.
so reload will.
For each, yeah, that's recursive right there. So that should go through
That should
each.
go through everything.
That should go through everything fine.
Shouldn't we like do that? Shouldn't we apply reload to? Oh wait, maybe no. That would be an infinite. loop. My bad.
It's
okay.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's that part. And now,
I'll be honest, you're making me nervous. Like you started this off because I'm working on like a theming thing right now,
right?
and I was like reading this, I'm like, oh no, like, about
Yeah.
to redo my entire code.
Yeah. Well, it's a little.
It's too universal.
This
it's nice for like smaller applications.
This first link here is from like most of this is based off of, and it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
And this you'll see this app works very well that they have. It's kind of demo. Okay.
Oh, there's with.
Yeah. So this is that with extension. You can see what it's doing. So I'll just run this real quick, and then we'll dive into the code.
Where self is any. Whoa.
Yeah.
It's deep.
That's a deep extension.
I
like that.
Cool.
Yeah, it took me like 5 minutes to read that. I was like, wait, what are they doing?
Where self is any. My friend sent me something.
AirPlay, come on. There we go. Give me the simulator.
Which of the sources is this app from?
The first one.
Gotcha.
So you can see it loads with the dark theme by default, and then so it just says, oh no. Basically up here you can go
Oh,
light, and then kind of ocean, and then over here,
Oh, so this is like like deleting everything off the stack.
Yeah.
And putting it back on.
yeah.
It's crazy.
So if we go into here, if we go into app delegate, we'll see that we're making right off the bat, we're making a dark theme, and then within will finish launching with options we call theme not apply for application. And then so if we go to, here's that theme extension, this is the dark theme. So this is all your themes are.
Mm-hmm.
So you can make as, like if you just, like how they have it in here, you can just make a folder of these and put in as many as you want.
Yeah.
And they're pretty modular. You can just kind of throw them around. And then, so in here, this is the theme protocol. And then here's that extension. Where basically just sets, I mean, they have this with thing, which I think is just kind of like
It's just
like
helpful.
a helper kind of method thing.
It groups all of the like styling in one
Right.
function. Just kind of.
So you can see they're basically calling what I showed earlier. So like up here they're doing the key window frame, tint color, tab bar kind of style and tint, navigation bar style, text attributes, UI collection view, table views, and then so here's like if we go to extensions over here. Where's the? Trying to figure out where they have They have like a file with all. Oh, it's controls, I think.
Mm.
So it's just like you have a bunch of stuff like this,
Mm.
where it's just,
Just so that they can.
just so that you can differentiate them within
Right.
within here, and then so you can see again they're going through and going, okay, now on the app label, put through those.
So, okay, so by specifying a subclass, like if you stylize, let's say UI slider,
Mhm.
and then you say app slider is a subclass of UI slider,
Mhm.
and you stylize app slider overriding, let's say the tint color in this case, it uses the app slider's tint color.
Right.
Okay. So the usage of the
Well, you'd create you'd create an app slider.
you create an app slider and
Yeah.
it would use the proper tint color.
Right.
Okay. So the case where it used the non CSS default value, which was like the higher up one.
Right.
What was that case again? What would be an
Um,
example of that?
That'd be like something contained in something else.
Oh,
So like a label in a collection view cell.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So if all app sliders had a certain tint color, but then when an app slider was in a collection view cell, it had a different tint slider.
Right.
That's the case.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can see that. I don't really know what this is here, whether it's inside of two app views, I guess.
Interesting.
So I guess I haven't looked at
Oh,
this.
an app view inside of an app view.
Yeah. Actually, I want to see what this is running, right? So I can go in. Let me see this real quick. I'd be interested to see how crazy this view hierarchy is. Yeah, so you can see
Oh wow.
it's pretty. You get pretty crazy with all the.
Oh damn. That's not bad.
So what's the app view? Let's see. So themekit.appview, it looks like is our outer.
Yeah.
I see it at the top right. And then there's a stack. So there's got to be another app view in here, it seems like.
This might not show the. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But so it gets a little crazy. Controls. Yeah, that's basically.
Cool.
That's
And
basically it.
What is the interaction with the segmented control? Like, what does that code look like?
Oh, so that's pretty simple.
Gotcha.
So when you select when you make a new theme, and then you call theme for .apply
Mm-hmm.
for that theme, and you're calling out a UI application shared.
That's cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wow. So can you go back to that theme class and just like option click on appearance on one of these? So what does this look like? Appearance self. Huh. So the type of
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
an app danger button on the return type here. It seems like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it returns self.
Yeah. So that's why it can use those specific like bar style or background. Cool.
Those returns itself. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about it.
Sweet.
That was pretty cool.
Thanks, Sam.